Hi everyone. Let's get Nicole. Mm, mm, mm. Hi Carla. Hi, hi, hi. Let's see if we can get. Hi, darling.
Hi, how are
Hello.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've had a very active day. It's Matt's birthday today, so in
Oh,
true boy style, he wanted to go and play 2 hours of tennis. So, hi Carla. So I did 2 hours of tennis with Matt, and then we went out for breakfast, which was really nice. And then I've been doing some fun stuff in the business and emails and so on. Hi Angela, good to see you. So yeah, I'm feeling good. And then we've got a lovely dinner tonight.
oh, happy birthday, Matt.
Thank you. 35 he is. He's such a little spring chicken. So 35 today.
Yeah, he's making me feel old.
Me too. Me too. He's 6 years younger than me, so yeah.
Yeah, but my parents were 11 years apart, so
Mine too. My dad's 10 years older than my mum. He's just had his 80th birthday on Saturday, so yeah, yeah.
oh, I know. I keep saying calling him Papa Richards. Well, I say this every week, but I'm always blown away by the questions that come through. And so I'm just really, really excited because I just love the clients and their questions and how engaged they are. So the first one, lots of questions about the program, the masterclass that launched over the weekend, activation. So I kind of summed them all up together. Um, so many questions came through. I'm very curious, what is activation and how or why did you choose that name?
So I guess we'll tell the story. You know the story, but I think the story is an interesting one for other people to hear about. So, about 3 weeks ago, I set an intention to the universe as I was falling asleep that I wanted to understand the energetics and the principles of the next level of wealth and service and impact, and me leading and standing in my power. I put it out there before I went to bed, woke up the next day, and kind of just, I guess, forgot about it. Then a couple of days later, bizarrely, well, not bizarrely, but a couple of programs around those themes came into my world. So I signed up for them and I was watching them and I could feel something being activated in me, is probably the best way I can explain it. Like I could feel this feeling of like I was being upgraded. It's probably one of the best descriptions. And then didn't think much of it, went away. We were supposed to go to Portugal, as you know. We went to Cornwall, and I could feel like something happening to me I guess on a cellular level. I could just feel something different in my body, like I was sort of growing and expanding. And what often happens before when I get into that energy is that I want to like turn it into something tangible. So get out my journal, and I didn't, because I was on holiday as well. I bead with it, for want of a better word. Now, one day there was this big walk in Cornwall, and it hugged like this gorgeous turquoise sea, and it hugged the cliffs. And there was a massive like column, like a statue that was like in the distance. So I said to Matt, I'm just going to go off. It wasn't really safe for the children with Harry's propensity to sort of leap around. So I thought, well, I'll just go and I'll go and walk. So I went off and walked, and I got to this telegram, and as I was walking to the telegram, things were just dropping in, like deeper understandings about activating power and activating inner knowledge and wealth and wisdom. It was just coming in, coming in, coming in. And then I got to this big statue column, and it was dedicated, with a place called Mullion, where it was dedicated to the first telegram that was sent from the UK, from Cornwall over to Newfoundland across the Atlantic. And I heard this voice like, you see, Caroline, you can't see the extent at which your energy travels, a bit like this, but it doesn't make it any less real. And then it continued, like this kind of, these things dropping in about the importance of who we decide to be and the frequency that we hold. Then I came back, had my dad's 80th birthday celebrations. Monday, the kids went to school, and I sat down and I literally heard the words, "You are being activated." And then it sounds very dramatic, but I felt like I was in an elevator ride. Like I was just going up and up and up. I couldn't catch my breath. It felt like I was being cracked open. It felt like all this stuff was sort of kind of flooding out of me. And it was a bit much, actually. I actually messaged my mentor halfway through, and she kind of helped me get to the top of the elevator ride. And it was after that that it landed, and it was like everybody out there is seeking the do. What they don't understand is how important it is about who you be, the frequency you hold, how you activate yourself. That's what everything is responding to. You've got to teach it. And this is where activation came up, the idea for this program. They were like, you've got to charge, start with £99, keep it really reasonable and accessible for people because everybody needs this. And then I literally felt into it, and it's like, you've got to activate people's power, their inner knowing, their abundance, and their light, their pure potential, basically. And those are the 4 things. And you need to do it over 4 days because it's going to be so powerful. What comes through, they shouldn't have a gap. I mean, I've never taught like that. I've never had it back to back. It's very different. And that's why, and that's where activation has been birthed. So, you know, because you're in the team, that I've experienced a huge activation. I've always said that this business is an energetic business. It's one that defies logic in many ways. It's an energetic business. It holds a huge amount of energy. And you as a team and me within the business have a certain energy and frequency that we hold. And the more that we activate ourselves as a team, and I activate myself, the more that we see the business grow. We see other things in my world and our lives for all of us grow outside of the work. And I think this is what's so fascinating about it. I'm so excited to be able to teach people about what they can do to activate themselves. This is about something that's within you being switched on, activated. So it's incredibly powerful work. And, you know, I'm delighted by the amount of people we've had sign up already. I think it's going to be truly epic.
Yeah, at this last week or so since you got back, I can't even explain the difference to the clients of just this next level. You also taught your coaching academy. Actually, that leads into our next question really well, but you were teaching your coaching academy, and you just were up leveling, and that's what was coming through in the comments, like, oh my gosh, I feel like she's never taught at this level. So it's definitely coming through.
I just think it's about our ability to be able to hold the next level of vibration, the next frequency. It's something that's you know, we're energetic beings. It's like tuning yourself to the next level, and I think that's what happened. And we kind of joked, didn't we? We had this team call, and all of you were like, sort of like your mouths were open, and I was coming in saying, right, this is what we're embodying, this is what we're activating, this is what we're aligning to, this is what we're owning. And I know it's not here yet, but it is here. And there's such a certainty with me, despite, of course, there's fear, but there's a certainty with me of like, this is the container of which we all work and contribute in. This is where our service is going out here. And even if we can't see it at the moment, and we are starting to see it come in and come in and come in, it's exploding because it's coming off the energy of me and the energy that we hold. So I love that that's coming into everything, the way I write, the way I do Instagram lives, the way that I will show up on Friday for the speaking event, the way that I teach in the coaching academy. It's ingrained in everything.
It is. And it's permeating to all of us as well, because, you know, you were describing holding us up, and like we're getting all the vibrations and creating connections between each other. So
yeah, I love it. It's very, very, and it's interesting, isn't it? I think as well, as I've activated myself, the activation of all of you as a team, the level of the kind of ideas and inspiration, the things that we're putting out there, and the quantity in terms of the service. It's like, well, how can we help people? Well, let's do activation, let's do the divine feminine, let's do Instagram lives, let's do the words of wisdom, let's do all of these things. It's like, let's help, let's serve, let's get more of this out there, let's come at this with a greater energy of belief of what it can do for the world. And it's just a whole different energy in the business. I think it's really interesting to witness this next this next stage that we've shot up to.
Yeah, it's really fun. Okay, so the next question is, on our coaching academy call last week, you talked about opening and closing each session with a ritual. Can you give me some advice of how I can feel into this a little bit more and what is right for me? I'm actually not sure where to start. You mentioned sprays. I don't even know what that is. You mentioned candles, but what kind of candles? And you mentioned some sort of ring, and I would love for you to explain more. Oh,
I think it's a great question. So I got that question. So what I was talking about in the Coaching Academy is the importance of preparing our space when we start a session, about being intentional with it. So for me, I almost imagine, I mean, I use selenite. I use the selenite wand. You don't need to do that. I imagine drawing a circle around my space where I'm sitting and kind of opening the light and opening the channel and tuning into the guidance that wants to come through. And then at the end of it, I always say these words: any energy that isn't mine is to go back and be transmuted into the highest, greatest vibration for all. And all my energy is to be called back to me. And I close the circle, and then I literally imagine myself drawing it and closing it. And I also use a candle. You can use any candle. I mean, I've got a neon candle. I can use a white pillar candle. You can use a tea light, anything. But I'm really intentional. You'll always see me when I teach. I'll kind of mutter this intention of, please make sure that everybody who's watching this now or in the future gets everything they need to in divine timing, under grace, and so it is this or something better. I'm always saying these things because the power of our words and our intention is so powerful. And when you're in a role where you're coaching, guiding, healing, mentoring, it's really important for you that you're opening and closing your space. And it's really, really important for your clients as well, that you're being really intentional about that energy.
Thank you so much. Oh, and what is the spray called? Just so we can answer that question.
So I use something, there's some sprays on Psychic Tree. There's also a guy called Paolo Reflex who does sprays on Instagram. And my sprays that I've got are a sort of aura cleanse that I spray to clear the energy around me.
Okay, perfect. Okay. This was an interesting one. If you could go back to when you started after leaving the corporate world, she was saying that's why I'm trying to translate it. If she could go back, I'll just read it how she wrote it. If she could go back to when she started after leaving the corporate world and give herself one piece of advice, what would it be?
You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe that anything is possible. I mean, it was the advice I gave myself, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. That you've got to believe in the not yet seen. Hold the faith, hold the faith, hold the faith. Trust, 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 trust. Hold the faith. That on repeat.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still do that. Sorry, I was going to say, I still do that now. When I go back to, I think about me sitting at my desk, resigning and handing in my resignation letter, and I still think, I wish I could have gone. I go back to her and say, well done, because you had such fear and doubt. But also I really do think about going back to her and saying, you've got this, like, you've got it. You just got to hold the faith and the trust. But you were going to say something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
For some reason, it came in my mind, time. You know, we have this concept of time and construct of time. And how did that play into your decision? Were you worried about, like, or did you give yourself any deadlines, or how did time factor into your faith?
I mean, one of the things that I did, because it just helped with the level that my ego was freaking out, is I knew on a soul level that I wasn't going to go back. But what I said to myself was, just we'll treat it like a kind of sabbatical, like a setting up a business sabbatical, or we'll give it a year and we'll just kind of feel into whether it's going to work. I knew full well that my intention wasn't, it wasn't for a year, but that really helped with the level of fear. It's like, well, I'm just going to approach this like a business entrepreneurial sabbatical where I try my hand at being an entrepreneur. That's one thing I did. The next thing I did, and this isn't to say it's the right way, but it's what I could energetically get behind at the time, is I worked out the minimum that I needed to cover the bills, and I started there. I was like, if I can just make £1,000, which means at the time like 20 clients. If I can just get 20 clients a month, then I've got £1,000 and I'm okay, and I'm okay. And to get those 20 clients, like, that's all I need to focus on. And I was really started small. That's not to say, I mean, if you could energetically get behind the fact you could do 6 figures, 7 figures, you could. But for me at the time, I just couldn't, I wouldn't have been able to get my energy behind that. So that's where I started. So those are the two things that helped me right at the beginning.
I think she'll appreciate that. I have heard you talk recently about the divine feminine and wounded masculine, yet I'm really unsure what they are or what they mean. How do I use them or recognize them? And how do I use it within my life? Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So we are in a age and time where we are being called to address the sacred union of both the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. But we live in a society at the moment which is heavily dependent and dictated to by manipulated masculine energies, pushing, striving, fear, power, logic, cerebral. And that's come at an expense of our divine feminine, whether you're male or female. So when I talk about your divine feminine, it's your innate ability to tap into feeling, into being, into intuition, into creativity, to be able to access magic and guidance, and to allow yourself to be in the energies of joy and flow. Yeah. And what the divine feminine that I talk about sort of has changed my life, really, because I've always been somebody who's pushed, who's hustled, who's worked a bit harder, who's tried to control. And when I was like, what, this isn't the way it's supposed to be, and actually there's a balance, and I can use the masculine to move things forwards, but also I can use this feminine of like intuition and guidance, and how do I feel and how do I be, and I use that as the foundation for everything, and the masculine to move it forward. It's changed everything for me. Like, it's so powerful when you realize there's parts of your being and your energetic states that you're not even beginning to access yet.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even know about the whole feminine side. I was so masculine. So it's refreshing to know that we all have it and can work towards it and nurture it, if you will.
And in all areas, like, I do a divine feminine program. I go through all areas. I go through your body. I go through sex. I go through relationships. I go through money. I go through your work or your business, um, your passion. I go through the way that you're living, your joy. I go through all of it, because it can be infiltrated into every single area, owning that inner goddess within you. There's so many of us men who are taught that it's not appropriate to feel and to be and to have vulnerability, and so many women who are taught that you just got to get on with it, and you don't honor your cyclical nature, and that you push on through, and that you're supposed to be these things, and it's just not true. Like, we all have natural states and cycles that we can flow through, and it's so empowering when you realize that's such a gift, to go into the dark and to the light, and the being and the doing, the masculine and the feminine, to use all of it in this glorious kind of mixing pot of creation, so that you can live your life from a whole different way. And it's incredible what that does. The amount of clients I see who, when they connect into their divine feminine, they just find their level of inspiration and guidance and joy and contentment, money flow, all of it just comes.
Yeah, and I didn't even know you could talk to your womb. And I think you said there's like different, is it chakras or something inside the womb or something, chambers?
Yeah, different 8 gateways that take you into, yeah, kind of all of the consciousness that exists and is available for us. It's fascinating.
Super fascinating. It's such a wonderful program. It's one of my favorites for sure. Well, they all are. Okay. I have been struggling with feeling successful lately, getting all in my head about the number of clients I have, the amount of money I make, and if I'm doing things right. How do you get yourself out of this space, or do you ever even feel this way? How do you measure your success?
Yeah, I do. I definitely feel that way. But for me, it's really important that we look at how we define success, because is it just about how well your business is doing or how much money you're bringing in? Or is it about the amount of joy that you're experiencing? I remember Gabby Bernstein saying that was a real game changer for her when she decided to measure success by how much joy she was feeling in each moment. So much changed. So I think we have to be like really honest with ourselves about what am I measuring success against, and is that my version of it, or if I got that from somebody, parents, society, work, somebody's fed that to me. The next thing is, often I see people in this constant pursuit of success, no matter how much money they earn, or we often people say, when I get here, then I'll be happy, or when I get here, then I'll feel successful, and that just isn't how it works. So I think it's about saying, well, am I in this quest for success because ultimately I don't feel enough without it? So what do I need to look at to feel enough? What do I need to do in order to really embody that I'm worthy and deserving just as I am? And that's a really good place. And the next thing in terms of shifting it is we look inside and we say, well, what stories am I telling myself about what's possible for me, what's available for me, or what it comes at the expense of is another one. It's like, well, yeah, I could have the clients and the growth, but it means I won't have time, or people won't like me as much, or it's going to mean this or that. And we need to look at that and say, well, what if that isn't true? And what about my success being an amplifier for all that I can be and all my wonderful qualities? And I trust and back myself that I will just become more and more expansive and abundant as I call in this next level of success. But there does feel an energy of that beneath the question for me. So let's look at all of those things for whoever asked that question.
Yeah, the part that struck me the most was getting it right. And I think that we so often, especially for me in the patriarchal world, are just taught that every little thing has to be perfect. Every email with every period, I's dotted, T's crossed. And, you know, we're human. We make mistakes and nothing's going to be perfect. And I think one of the things that I've learned from you that I appreciate is when something doesn't necessarily go my way or how I thought it would go, I think of it differently now, like, oh, I was supposed to go in a different direction. It's not a negative thing anymore. Or if something didn't happen, it's not negative. I just trust that my path is being guided.
Yeah, and exactly, and it's locking in that ultimate belief that you can't get it wrong, that everything's in divine timing. Even if something doesn't work out or you make a mistake, it's all part of the bigger picture because you decided that you get there.
Yes.
Mindful of my battery looking low. I wonder whether I should go and get my charger. How are we doing for time?
We're good for time, but that was actually the last question. I was just going to ask you if anything is coming up this week.
I would love everybody to feel into this because I have been. I would love everybody to feel into, are they spending more time on the doing or are they spending more time on the being? Oh, look, my mum's just joined.
Hi,
I've been
Richard.
on Instagram Live, so this is very exciting. She'll be working out how to type now. But I want to encourage everybody to think about where their energy's going. Is it always on what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Or is the energy on who am I deciding to be? What energy and vibration am I holding? What am I expanding into? Who am I choosing to be in each moment? And that's what I want to leave you with. And I'm talking really quickly because I'm really worried that I'm holding the faith that the phone will keep the battery. So I'll be able to repost this.
Okay.
And thank you so much for all your questions, Nicole. Thank you as ever. And any more questions for next week, keep them coming. We love them. I've got my words of wisdom coming tomorrow that I've just recorded for Hannah. She's going to put that out there. And then for any of you who are interested in activation, it's £99. I teach it live in July. It's recorded forever. I'd really recommend it. It's going to be epic. So we'll pop that link beneath here as well. You can head to my website.
And if you're unsure if it's right for you, you can book a free 15-minute breakthrough call, or email me, Nicole@caroline-britton.com.
Fab, thank you. Thank you for your lovely comments, everybody. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks, Nicole. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.